Hey, what's up, everybody? Jay Pounds here with Dynasty Owner. We got another weekly video for you guys. Why? Because we keep pumping out content at Dynasty Owner. If you guys like content, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and make sure you turn that notification bell on. Other than that, guys, I kind of want to get right into it this week. It's a going to be a lengthy video. I'm going to try to keep it to the normal time like I usually do, but it might run a little over. If it does, I apologize. The article is a little long. I'll find a way to shorten it up a little bit next week so it's a shorter read for you guys. Other than that, if you're a new user finding this video, I don't know how you did it, but please comment below and I'll walk you through the steps of getting started. Other than that, guys, we're going to get right into things. This week we got the AFC North buy, sell, hold. This is going to basically allow me to cover everybody on your guys' rosters. It's going to take me some time to cover every division. Obviously, I can't do every single division in one article or video, but basically, I'm going to be able to, like I said, cover everybody on your guys' rosters. I don't know what I'm trying to say here. Let's go ahead and get right into things, guys. The first thing we got is buy, and I labeled these into categories by their team. So you'll see the buys for the Steelers, the Browns, Ravens, and Bengals, and then you'll see the holds for the same teams, obviously because they're all in the AFC North. But first up here, these aren't in any particular order. And before I get into it, I want to explain something real quick. The buy and the hold, basically the difference here is a hold is somebody that's they got to wait their turn to get playing time, or their trade value is very low or something like that. Buy is basically, if you got them, you're keeping them. If not, you can go out and buy them if you want to pay the price for them. But some of them are going to be expensive. But anyway, let's go ahead and get right into it. The first player we got here is Chase Claypool, 3 years, 1.6 million. Claypool blew up his rookie year. Basically, what I heard is in Canada they don't have much for football camps, and it hurts the development of Canadian football players. And because of that, Chase Claypool was really, really a raw talent going into Notre Dame and coming into Pittsburgh, really. And he just has been excelling every year, getting better and better and better against this top level competition, even though he has, he's behind, but he's still doing well. So if he's able to learn and develop alongside while playing against this talent, then he's definitely worth a buy, guys. I talked too long about Claypool. Let's move on. Number two, Deontay Johnson, 2 years, 1.1 million, basically. Deontay Johnson's target monster. He did have some problems with drops, but other than that, he's a great, great young talent at a great value right now. Yeah, you're gonna have to pay him in a couple years, but that's what rebuilding rosters are about. You gotta find that balance. At number three, we got Najee Harris, 4 years, 3.2 million. The workhorse. He's going to get 250 plus touches, no problem this year, as long as he stays healthy. Yeah, the offensive line isn't very good. It might be. I trust Pittsburgh. I don't think it's going to be good, but it's not going to be the worst in the NFL, I don't think. Pittsburgh makes sound decisions usually. Yeah, it's questionable this year. I don't know if I would have brought Big Ben back, but we'll see where it goes. I love Najee Harris to Pittsburgh. That's about all I got to say about the kid. Enough of my love fest. Number four, we got Pat Freiermuth, 4 years, 1.5 million. I believe if Kyle Pitts wasn't in this draft, Pat Freiermuth may have been a late first, early second round pick. Um, Pitts really stole a lot of Freiermuth's thunder. Nobody was talking about Freiermuth, and rightfully so. Pitts is a generational talent, and he deserves it by every means. I kind of picture Freiermuth for some reason as a Heath Miller type, and it might just because he was drafted by Pittsburgh, but that's just who he reminds me of right now. And I'm hoping he has that type of career. For Cleveland, we have Donovan Peoples-Jones, 3 years, 800,000. He basically is your prototypical buy and a rebuild candidate. He had a great not a great rookie year, but he flashed in his rookie year, and then his team went out and drafted Anthony Schwartz in the third round, and now the outlook is bleak. But that being said, you buy him, hold on to him for a year or two until he gets traded or something happens to somebody in front of him and he blows up. The next guy, Anthony Schwartz, 4 years, 1.2 million. Like I said, drafted in the third round. Track speed. I know you hear that term a lot, but he really, really, really has track speed. I believe he ran track and did very, very well at Auburn. So he is lightning fast, and it'll be interesting to see um, how the Brownies use this kid. At number 7 here, we got Harrison Bryant, 3 years, 1 million. If I looked at the contract right, and I'm terrible with clauses and all that stuff, Hooper can be let go by the Browns here after this season. It might be 2 seasons, but I think it's after this season. And if he is, you could be looking at a scenario where Harrison Bryant's the number one tight end in Cleveland for the 2022 season. And if that's the case, why would you not want him on your roster right now? The key is here: get people while they're cheap and sell them while they're not. That's the name of the game when you're rebuilding. So these are the types of players you guys are want to go out and you got to look at these types of things here. The Baltimore Ravens are up next. We got Rashad Bateman. Obviously, he's a rookie. You're gonna want to, you want to hold on to these rookies. You want to go out and get these rookies if you can. He's got the first round draft capital. He is in a run first offense, so we'll see how that goes with Rashad Bateman. But I do like the talent, and I expect Lamar to surprise some people this year. We'll see how that goes. Uh, Next up, we got J.K. Dobbins, young running back. He looked great last year towards the end of the year, and it was a disappointment to see Gus Edwards signed, but that's all right. We'll see where J.K. Dobbins goes. It's a top 3 rushing team, so he's going to get a ton of work regardless. But if anything, you're not getting rid of Dobbins. You're not worried about Gus Edwards. You're not worried about Lamar Jackson stealing carries. He is going to take some work, but he's not going to completely destroy J.K. Dobbins or anything like that. Dobbins is a safe play. Hold on to Dobbins if you got him, buy him if you don't. Mark Andrews, 1 year, 863,000. It's an interesting choice here. I had Mark Andrews on the buy for contenders last week, and now I got him on the buy for rebuilding owners last week, and it's because yes, he's going to get a new contract, but tight ends are just ugly anymore. And Mark Andrews is a very solid talent, and he will end up getting these 1,000-yard seasons. You got to remember he's only in his third year, going into his fourth, and he's not exactly on a strong passing offense. So you're not going to see those numbers from him right away. It's going to take him time, but I feel like by the time your rebuilding team is ready to compete for championships, Mark Andrews is going to be a monster. The last guy we got here for Baltimore, Trace McSorley. And some of you might be surprised at this. And this is solely because Lamar Jackson is a running quarterback, and he has never really been out for an extended period of time, aside from he missed a couple games with COVID. Other than that, he hasn't had any major injuries or anything, and I hope he doesn't. But it's likely just because of the way he plays. That's all I'm going to say on that. If you can get McSorley and Jackson were for some reason to go down, you got guaranteed draft picks in your pocket. Up next, we got the Cincinnati Bengals. Jamar Chase, 4 years, 7.5 million. Sorry. Just like Kyle Pitts, Jamar Chase is a generational talent, in my opinion. He's going to reunite with Burrow, who the last time we seen these two kids together, they absolutely obliterated records in college. They looked unstoppable, and we'll see it happen again here in Cincinnati, hopefully. I shouldn't say hopefully because I'm a Steelers fan, but I really, really like Burrow. He's an Ohio kid. Jamar Chase, he was one of my favorite players in college. I shouldn't say favorite players, but I loved watching him in college. And then you'll see the next guy here I got is T. Higgins. And what an interesting trio that is. How bad do you think Higgins is going to get in the locker room? Like, bro, you got walloped in the national championship game by us, but now you're on our team in the NFL, so it's all right for us to just talk crap all day long every day. I guarantee there's a lot of banner going on there with Chase, Burrow, and Higgins from that epic. I shouldn't even call it epic. It was the only part was epic was Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase's run that they went on. But enough about that. T. Higgins, 3 years, $2.1 million. T. Higgins surprised some people last year. He was a first pick in the second round, so it's not like he wasn't a talented kid. I'm not saying he came out of nowhere from the sixth round and almost had a 1,000-yard season, but I don't think we were expecting it out of him right away because AJ Green was healthy, Tyler Boyd was there. It just Joe Burrow was a actual real rookie. First round pick with a ton of expectations. I don't think a lot of people seen him doing what he was going to, but he did 6 touchdowns, and that was with Joe Burrow missing a lot of time. So Higgins has definitely got a ton of talent, and definitely somebody you need to be buying up. Chris Evans, 4 years, 913,000. Evans, it's a potential Giovanni Bernard replacement. It's going to be him or Samaje Perine. We'll see what happens. I feel like talent's going to win out, and Chris Evans is going to push Perine possibly off the roster, or at least a third string, and Chris Evans will see kind of that Giovanni Bernard workload. I don't expect it to be as much as Bernard's seen, but I do expect that work to still somewhat be there for whoever wins the job behind Mixon. Up next, we got Joe Burrow, 3 years, $9 million. Joe Burrow speaks for himself, man. He had solid stats all year last year. He was playing from his back basically and still completing passes. He didn't have the greatest statistical season or anything like that by any means, but he put up numbers, and for fantasy, that's what you need. Let's go ahead and move on to the hold. We're going to talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers first, obviously, because they're number one. Steelers, it's just common sense here. But if you got these players, you're going to hold them. James Washington, 1 year, $1.1 million. James Washington has been just kind of an up and down, hit or miss type player in the NFL, and he's basically just somebody you kind of want to hold until he gets his next contract and see where he goes. He's got Claypool, Johnson, and Juju in front of him. He's not getting much work in Pittsburgh. So if you got him, hold him. You're not getting nothing in for a trade for him. So no point in cutting him. Just hold on to James Washington. Up next, we got Kalen Ballage. Now, Kalen Ballage would be a sell here, but I've tried selling him, and people still think Benny Snell is the backup to Najee Harris. So until the perception of Kalen Ballage changes to being the backup, you got to hold on to him. That's basically all I need to say about him. Mason Rudolph, 1 year, 980,000. We've seen Mason Rudolph play last year, guys. The main thing here, Steve Van Tassel made a great point. Oh man, I just noticed, Steve, I spelled your name wrong. I'm sorry. I already sent you the article too. I apologize. I can't believe I just caught that. Wow, there's 2 L's. I know there is. But anyway, Steve made an excellent point on Mason Rudolph. And, oh, wait, Steve, this might not be the final article because I don't have Dwayne Haskins' salary right there either. But Steve made a great point in his article. Mason Rudolph's playing behind Ben Roethlisberger. Ben Roethlisberger's old. He was he didn't look the same at the end of the last year. It's hard telling what he's going to look like this year, and it definitely could be a Mason Rudolph show in Pittsburgh if Ben Roethlisberger just, what if he just isn't right? Rudolph will have to beat out our next guy here, Dwayne Haskins. 1 year, blank contract because I'm a dummy. I believe it's like 800, 900,000, something like that. But basically, if Haskins can come to Pittsburgh and learn how to be a pro and have work ethic and study and learn the game and play it the right way, we might find out why Washington drafted him with the 15th pick in the 2019 NFL draft. That's all I'm saying because I'm a Haskins fan, man. Go Bucks. Not the Milwaukee Bucks either. For the Cleveland Browns, we got Rashad Hollywood Higgins. I I don't know if anybody had a more disappointing offseason than Hollywood Higgins. You know, he re-signs with the Browns. There's rumors of OBJ getting traded, and so they bring him back. On a value for a deal, from what it looks like to me. And then all of a sudden now OBJ, the talk dies down. They draft Anthony Schwartz. Donovan Peoples-Jones is still there, and so Jarvis Landry's still there. Austin Hooper's there. David Njoku's still there. It's just I would have went elsewhere if I was Higgins. I don't. It doesn't make sense. How the Browns did him there. I don't get it. But he's definitely a hold until next year and see what happens with him. Next guy we got is David Njoku. I can't believe he's still on the Browns right now, but until he gets a fresh start, you hold on to him. That there's not much more I can say. He's a former first round pick, and then the Browns go out and sign Hooper to this big, huge deal, and he never even really got much of a fair chance to play, in my opinion. I don't see the inside workings of things, so I don't know, but it's hard telling with the Browns. That was their old front office that drafted him and kind of put him in the doghouse, and the new front office has their own guys, so I get it. But he'll get a fresh start soon, and that's why you hold him. Odell Beckham Jr. This is a weird one here. An $18 million hold. But the reason for that is Odell Beckham is so talented. He is so talented. You just can't, unless you have to because of salary reasons. Like for one of these orphan teams I picked up, it had Patrick Mahomes, and then it had a bunch of just bad contracts. So I got rid of Beckham, and Landry. I tried trading both of them. Nobody wanted either one of them. They're still both on the free agents. And I ended up trading out Beckham for Michael Thomas. But Beckham is so unless you're doing something like that, you got to hold him. He's so talented that eventually he's going to get back. And if he comes back and looks anything like the old OBJ, you're going to get hopefully a decent haul for him. I wouldn't recommend holding him for 3 years waiting for a new situation, but at least hold him for half this coming up season and see what happens. At worst, you amnesty him and move on. Up next, we got Austin Hooper. Like I said, he's got a record-setting deal, and then he comes out and drops 46 catches and 435 yards, just balling out. No, I don't know. The signing didn't make sense when they announced it because they already had Njoku, and if you're gonna have him, at least give him a full opportunity to do something, and then you don't even involve Hooper a whole lot in the passing games. I don't know. It just didn't make sense. But hold on to him and see how they use him this year and see how things change. His contract's 3 years, $10.5 million, by the way. For the Baltimore Ravens, we got Marquise Hollywood Brown. We got a lot of Hollywoods in this one. 2 years, $2.9 million. He was very sought after going into last year, and he just disappointed for the most part. And some of that has to do with the regression from Lamar Jackson, but he had 58 catches, 769 yards, and he turned it into 8 touchdowns. So that part was impressive. But still, 769 yards, that's not what you were expecting from Marquise Brown when you drafted him, and that's not what you want from him moving forward. But the way the Ravens receiving room looks now, that might be what to expect from him going forward, and that might be a little too much to expect for him going forward. They brought in Sammy Watkins and drafted Rashad Bateman. I don't know how they feel about Marquise Brown. After that, the Ravens are a smart franchise. They don't do things like that unless they have to. So it's hard telling there. Up next, we got Justice Hill, and this is a funny one too because I feel like you could probably just cut him and move on at this point. But the Ravens are so committed to using 2 running backs. They had Mark Ingram and then Dobbins, and then Edwards and Dobbins, and now, what if one of these two get hurt? Is it going to be a workhorse role, or are they going to throw Justice Hill in and just keep rotating the 3? Lamar, Hill, and Edwards, or if it's Dobbins that goes down, I definitely see Hill getting a shot. If it's Edwards going down, I could see him giving Dobbins a workhorse role, but I still feel like they would sprinkle Hill in there a decent amount as well. For the Cincinnati Bengals, we got Auden Tate, the 2020 training camp MVP of the Cincinnati Bengals in our presence. The hype going the hype train in the off season is real, ain't it, guys? He was outplayed by Mike Thomas, but he might be worth a hold. I wouldn't blame you if you just cut him for somebody who has more upside, but at this point, he's a hold for now, I guess. We got Drew Sample, 2 years, $1.3 million. I I was so excited when Sample got his chance because he blew up the first week. Well, not blew up, but he had a solid week, and then he just didn't do a whole lot the rest of the time. The rest of the season, he had 40 catches, 349 yards, and he did add a touchdown. But I don't have many shares. I don't think I have any shares of him now. He's a hold. Tight ends take a little while to get going. You can hold Sample if you have him. If you want to cut him, that's fine too, but you can definitely hold him. Another one is Steve Van Tassel's. I can't remember the name of the tier now. It's in there, but I don't feel like reading it. It might not actually be in that part. No, it's not. But anyway, basically it was they might have a chance to play and they ain't going to cost you anything, and they got a 1-year deal. And Brandon Allen, what if Joe Burrow isn't ready for week 1? He got injured somewhat late in the season last year. What happens if he's not ready? Brandon Allen's going to be the guy going, like Steve said in his video a couple days ago. Up after that, we got Samaje Perine, 2 years, $1.6 million. Like I said with Chris Evans, it's going to be him or Perine. It's just hard telling who. I'm not high on Perine by any means, but that doesn't mean you guys aren't. All right, last but not least, we got the sell category for the Pittsburgh Steelers. We got Juju Smith-Schuster, 1 year, $8 million. I'm selling him because he's going to get a big deal next year if he plays well. If not, if he doesn't play well, then you sold him anyway. And you got decent value out of him at that point. And I'm selling him because Devin Bush hates this guy. He's a TikToker, and we all know how Devin Bush feels about TikTokers. I'm not a TikToker, but we know I don't hate TikTokers, but we know how Devin Bush feels about TikTokers. Eric Ebron, Pittsburgh Steelers. Oh, I forgot to erase those. Dang it. Sorry, Steve. I don't think this is the article I sent you. I really hope it's not. I'm going to go back and double check just to be safe. I know I changed those, but I think I might have clicked on the wrong one when I uploaded it here just to read off of. Eric Ebron, Pittsburgh, 1 year, $6 million. Sorry, I keep reading Pittsburgh. He's only 28, but he's had a lot of hype in the past, and he just never really seems to live up to it. And he had a decent year, 558 yards, but it's just, I remember going into the season, he might have 1,000-yard season, blah, 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 and he just never does. So, you can go ahead and sell him. At the next spot, we got Ben Roethlisberger, 1 year, $14 million. As you've seen at the end of last year, he doesn't have much left in the tank, guys. If you can find a contending owner that can fit $14 million into their roster, they'll gladly take Roethlisberger because most people don't have 3 quarterbacks and that cover a lot of bye weeks for him, and it'll be a cheap cut if you need to open up a ton of cap space right there. After that, we got Benny Snell, Pittsburgh Steelers, 2 years, $805,000. Sorry, I keep saying the Steelers. We already covered that. But he's a potential cut candidate, like I said when we were talking about Kalen Ballage, and I've sent actual offers out for Kalen Ballage or with Kalen Ballage, and I've been told that Benny Snell is still the handcuff. So change him while that's still the perception. Cleveland Browns, we got Jarvis Landry, 2 years, $15 million. Jarvis Landry, like Odell Beckham, still a great talent in the NFL. He's just expensive. If Baker takes a step forward, he might be worth that price. But until then, just trade him to a contender if you can. If not, you might have to cut him. The next one, I hate saying these types of names for sales, but Nick Chubb. He's about to get a new deal. It's going to be a big one. The Browns aren't letting him go. He's going to stay in Cleveland. He's going to get a big deal. And I don't want his big deal on my roster because by the time I'm competing for championships, the Browns have gonna ran him straight into the ground, and he's going to not be existent in fantasy football anymore. That's why I'm selling Nick Chubb. He's a great Great running back. Don't get me wrong. I got Nick Chubb. He's probably going to be top 8 when my rankings release. Maybe 9 or 10. We'll see how it pans out here. But after that, we got Kareem Hunt. Same thing. The only difference there from Hunt and Chubb, obviously Chubb's a little bit better of a talent. Kareem Hunt's an extraordinary talent as well, but you might get a full season of Kareem Hunt for $6 million as a starter if the Browns don't bring back Chubb. But I highly doubt that happens. Cleveland fans love Chubb. I live right in the heart of Cleveland, in Brownies country. They love Chubb around here, man. I'm telling you. I don't mind Chubb either. He's fun to watch. I can't even lie. After Kareem Hunt, we got Baker Mayfield, and I'm saying Baker Mayfield because then don't take this as me comparing him to Joe Flacco, but remember the problems the Ravens had when they paid Joe Flacco big money. That's all I'm saying about paying Baker Mayfield big money. He's got a solid O-line. He's got a solid defense. He's got solid receivers. He's got a great running game. He's got everything a young quarterback could ever need. If he doesn't take a step forward and they pay him 30 plus million, $40 million, things are going to go south fast in Cleveland. He's got to prove himself this year. I'm For my family being Browns fans, I'm so happy that they didn't give him an extension yet, and I hope they don't until after this season. I hope they see one more year of what he can do. For the Baltimore Ravens, we got Watkins. I don't think much needs to be said about Watkins. He's been a sell for rebuilding owners for 4 years now, as you see in the article. Just get rid of him. Whatever you can get out of him. Gus Edwards, 1 year, $3.3 million. The running back landscape right now is so thin. It's so thin that you can get a decent amount for Gus Edwards right now. If you sell Gus Edwards right now as a rebuilding owner, you're going to get a decent haul for him. You might even get a first-round pick, depending on how desperate somebody is. After that, we got Lamar Jackson. Just like Nick Chubb, I hate saying Lamar Jackson here. But like I said earlier, he's a running quarterback. He's prone to injuries. Eventually, it's going to happen, and eventually, he's going to make $40 million a year, and you don't want $40 million a year hurt on your bench. Trade him while you can get a lot of value out of him, and that's this year and this year only. He's on a 1 year, $2.3 million contract, and you're not going to get that value after this season. The Cincinnati Bengals, we got Tyler Boyd, 3 years, $10.75 million. Once Chase got drafted, Boyd became an instant sell. He was one of my favorite holds and sleepers coming into this year until they drafted Chase, but not necessarily. I shouldn't say sleeper because he almost had 1,000 yards last year without Joe Burrow, but he was one of my favorite low level talents coming into or low level players that not a lot of people talk about coming into the season. And then drafted Chase and ruined all of that. I love Chase in Cincinnati though. Joe Mixon's the last guy we got here in the article, guys. Again, he's just had such an up and down kind of career. Not necessarily a career, but he's just so volatile from week to week that I cannot have him on my roster winning me weeks. As a rebuilding owner, go trade Joe Mixon, get that $12 million in cap on your roster and flexibility for your rebuilding future. Your financial freedom for your rebuilding future. That's all I got for you guys this week. Stay safe out there, guys. That's it. Good luck on your chase for the ring. Have a good one. I'm out.